Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to a sad Friday night edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. Buffalo Sabres drop their first game. Would have been their fourth win in a row if they would have won tonight, but drop 5-3 to Carolina tonight in Carolina. And I mean, where to begin? I think, you know, there's a lot of fingers to point here. You could point the fingers at officiating for sure. That didn't help, especially in the first period. A lot of soft calls on Buffalo and a lot of missed calls against Carolina. I think it was the one on Dylan Cousins where he gets slashed and sticks, shattered. That stick doesn't break by itself right in front of the ref. And it's just like, what was that? We got a makeup call a couple minutes later, but that was on the power play, would have been a 2-minute advantage. It's just a different scenario. It sucks. There was like a trip. I forget who that was on. I know Buffalo Hockey Moments tweeted it out. It's like, is this not a trip, and happened right in front of the referee? But I'm not going to blame the officiating for tonight's loss, even though it was atrocious. The double minor to Dahlin for interference and roughing. When I just don't understand how Kokonakmi, doesn't get. How is he? How are we the ones shorthanded in that situation? I understand the initial penalty was on Dahlin, but he's essentially, in my opinion, there defending himself. And he gets sucker punched. And listen, as a hockey player, anybody will say this. That was such a fucking Bush League move by Kokonakmi. Or how you say his last name, I can't say it. When you're jawing at each other, face wash, throw their gloves on, that's just hockey. But like when the ref's in between you and you throw a right across Dahlin's face, like that's just Bush League, man. Like, come on. Like, if you're gonna fight. Drop your gloves and fight. Don't wait for the ref to get in between the both of you and then just sucker somebody. And then on the ESPN broadcast, they kept showing it. Like, oh my God, look at the rough stuff here. Like, it's just like, stop saying that was an awesome play. Like, it wasn't. He sucker punched a guy unknowingly. And I'm all for fighting in hockey, and I'm all for playing with an edge and aggressive play. But that was dirty. You don't come across somebody's face with your glove on when the refs are in between you, just because you can get away with it, and you're not going to have to answer the bell for it. And Buffalo should have made him answer the bell for it at some point during this game, and they didn't. It's kind of disappointing. I think that, again, I'm not going to blame officiating for the loss here, but it certainly didn't help. And then you go through the ebbs and flows of this game. They had trouble moving the puck through the neutral zone. Entering the zone was a whole different story. Carolina played very aggressive. They played very physical. They got bodies on our forwards, or even if it was Dahlin trying to bring the puck in the zone, like, you weren't coming into the zone unscathed. I'll give credit where credit's due. Carolina, outmatched us physically, and forced us to have to play a dump and chase game. Antti Raanta did a great job handling the puck and killing that any opportunity there. I'm a goalie who takes pride in playing the puck and stopping a breakout on a dump and chase. leaving it there for your defenseman to, wrap it around. But yeah, they made it very, very difficult for Buffalo to break out tonight. And, especially, you saw that last power play opportunity. And when Buffalo tried to, gain possession to get Anderson out of the net earlier at the end of the game, like perfect examples. It made it very, very difficult for the Sabres from a possession standpoint. Once you cross the red line, you had a body on you, he had a stick on you. Rod Brindamore, that's the style of hockey he likes to see played, and it works very, very, very well. And then when you try and dump those pucks in, and you're not getting to them, it's you're really putting yourself in a position where you're probably not going to win this hockey game. You're playing kind of right into Carolina's game plan, which is what happened tonight. Carolina, that's a good hockey team. That is not a bad team. Sebastian Aho with the sealed the hat trick there with the empty netter at the end. Then Darlene scores with like a tenth of a second, a pointless goal. It's really just a stat builder, but nonetheless, the 7th goal of the season. Again, I don't think Anderson played a bad game. A couple those first 2 goals, especially, he stood zero chance on. I don't think it makes a difference if Comrie's in net tonight. That's for sure. Buffalo, you've seen them score in bunches the last couple of games. Tonight, I mean, again, it was an effort, but I mean, I think you just kind of got sucked into Carolina's game plan and Rod Brindamore's game plan of we're not going to let this team beat us with their speed. We're going to keep everything to the outside, and we're going to get as much of our bodies on them as we can. And that's what happened, man. And Buffalo hasn't really played a team that of that style yet, or at least combated them with what the Carolina Hurricanes and Rod Brindamore did tonight. And it worked. Again, give credit where credit's due. Antti Ranta, answered the bell when he had to. The guys that you've kind of looked to be your goal scorers over the last, couple weeks. They weren't tonight. I think goals from Jacob Bryson, Victor Olofsson, great goal. I mean, there was a couple goals tonight on both sides. It's like, what are you guys doing leaving these guys that wide open and giving them that much space? Victor Olofsson has such a major league shot. He doesn't miss, especially when you give him that kind of time from that close in. He's not going to miss. One top corner. Aho as well. Just like, a lot of guys just kind of, was it Nikas, I think, scored one too. Just can't leave these guys wide open like that. And, Buffalo paid for it. They did tonight. That one goal, who was it? It might have been one of the Aho goals, but Fitzgerald isn't able to ring the puck around the boards, comes out to the front, and Olofsson is just completely unaware of what's going on around him, doesn't realize that his team doesn't have possession. And I want to say it might have been the Aho goal, just kind of coasting right by him. If he would have looked to his left and seen, he could have got a stick on him, stops that goal from ever happening. But, again, that's just kind of maybe in terms of his 5-on-5 play, one of the things that, was kind of bugged a lot of fans about him when 5-on-5 is just like, a little bit of a lack of awareness in your own end. If you don't have the puck, if your team doesn't have the puck, get on a man, find the closest guy to you in that situation. And that's in that situation. Like, again, I want to say the goal scorer might have been Aho. Get a body on him, get a stick on him, cause some interference there. And, that puck doesn't end up in the back of your net. But again, just a game where I think physically, and I'm not saying it was like a dramatic, you were dramatically outmatched physically, but you were outmatched physically. Carolina, again, played very physical at the blue line, wasn't allowing Buffalo to really transition into the zone very well. And it worked. Again, give credit where credit is due. And, shake this one off. You're not going to win all of them. As fun as this season has been so far, you're not going to win every game. There's going to be ebbs and flows of the season. And Carolina is always a tough team to play against. Snetchikov, Sebastian Aho, Kniecki, Freddie Anderson is kind of, even though he didn't play tonight, has kind of really found a new gear in Carolina since signing there. It's been, again, you're never gonna get an easy hockey game out of the Carolina Hurricanes, and I just, the only thing that made this game worse to watch was the fact that we couldn't watch it on MSG with Dan Dunleavy. Nothing against Bucci, but everything about I was not a fan of the broadcast tonight. I just really, really wasn't. There are a lot of mistakes made by the team. Was that I'm not sure who is that Haley Slavin. I don't even know. Bucci, I don't really think was 100% on his game tonight. And I like Bucci too. So there was a lot left to be desired there, I think. And I love the guys over at ESPN, Bucci, Ardo, Cal, Greg Wyshynski. They're all great analysts, commentators. They know their shit. And I love how hockey has come back to ESPN. The only thing I wish they get away from is making people pay for the streaming services. Just put it on TV. Like, if you want to grow the game and grow it on ESPN, it should be on TV. People shouldn't have to freaking pay for it. Some bundle package with Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. That's just stupid to me. Just put it on TV. Maybe select games on the streaming service, sure, but not every time you put a game on ESPN should you have to sit there and subscribe to ESPN Plus because you're just looking for a money grab. I cannot stand it. But again, looking past this game, next up on the Sabres schedule, I believe, will be the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow. That should be fun. A very, very good benchmark game in Tampa, Florida. See where where Buffalo is, where we kind of see them, filling in, this season up until now. Will they drop their second straight? Again, this team has been a team that's responded to adversity very well, whether it's coming off of a loss or in a game giving up a goal. They've been able to respond very well. And tomorrow, I expect them to respond very well. Obviously, back-to-backs, you expect Eric Comrie to be in net. I imagine they're probably traveling right to Tampa the second, they get out of the showers, get done with their media, scrums or whatever, and the hop on the bus or hop on the plane and, obviously hop on the plane, but get right into Tampa for a 7:00 puck drop tomorrow night. And, Tampa Bay, again, I think they've been in the finals 5 of the last 6 years or, something like that. And, that's, John Cooper's probably the best coach in all of hockey. Vasilevsky is still, in my opinion, the best goalie in the NHL. That's who we get tomorrow. Steven Stamkos is off to a phenomenal start. They have, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman. That team is, especially going into their building, those fans, they do get rowdy in there. Saturday night puck drop at 7. Expect that to probably a full barn. It's good. It's probably the toughest test they've had this season, going up against, former back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, runner-ups last season. It's definitely going to be a hard test. And, I expect Donnie Granato to have these guys ready to go, come puck drop. And hopefully, I'm not sure if Lyubushkin is on the trip with them. I want to say he is. I hope he's ready to go because they are really, really missing him and Samuelson on the back end, even Yoki Haru. And nothing against the guys that have been filling in like your Fitzgerald and your Brysons, but like they're undersized players and they can't fill in those shoes of guys like Matthias Samuelson and Ilya Lyubushkin. Like, those guys play such a strong physical style. And I think tonight is a game where you miss that. You miss that on your blue line. You miss that in your own zone. You miss having those guys back there. And even though Jacob Bryson scored a goal tonight, which is great and everything, but they just cannot fill the shoes of those two in particular, and Henry Yoki Haru. I think Yoki Haru has really found a home on your third pairing. I think he struggled a lot flip-flopping last season between the first and second pairing. So I think there's not, less is more for a guy like him when in terms of ice time and the situations he was kind of thrown into. But it's also nice to have a guy in the third pairing that can jump up to your second or even your first, if the situation calls for it. So they need to get healthy on their blue line, that's for sure. But the best thing about this team, and there's zero quit in them, even when they were down by 2 in the third period, like I wasn't turning off the game. Just like the other night when they went down by 2, 8 seconds into the third period, I'm not turning off the game. I know this team has it in them to come back. And that's the type of feeling that we as fans haven't had for a long, long time. I was messaging with actually Ardo Cal from ESPN earlier today, and we were chatting because he was curious of what I thought about this team, and I told him like just the passion and the no quit, leave it all on the ice attitude. It's something we haven't seen as Sabres fans in a very, very long time, and I think that's what we love about this team is that we've been dying for a team that takes us as fans seriously and understands how much this means to us. And because they understand how much this means to us, they go out there and they leave it all out on the ice, not just for themselves, but for us. And I think that's been like the biggest change for me so far, outside of the obviously the talent. But again, and then you have a coach who I think might be in the running for coach of the year this year, and Donnie Granato, putting these players in great situations to win and creating this internal competition amongst the players because, maybe Peyton Krebs has been on the lineup. Jack Quinn's been on the lineup. It's, when you create that type of internal competition, you really find the worth of a player. Do they, step to the challenge when faced with adversity, when backed into a corner, or do they tuck and roll? And, I think you got a team full of players who step up to the challenge and are willing to, come out of that corner swinging as hard as they can. And that's all you can ask for in a team, especially with the expectations we probably had to start the season. They fall to, is it 7-4 now? 7-4 on the season. So again, definitely better than most predicted, but you're not going to win them all. Again, especially a very tough to play against Carolina hockey team. Curious of who will probably get in net tomorrow, whether it'll be at Vasilevsky or the backup. I'm not even 100% positive who the backup is. But with that being said, keep throwing us your backup goalies, please, because we will take those points as much and as often as possible, especially this early on, while you guys are still trying to figure out the Buffalo Sabres. So you don't want to give us Anders Vasilevsky tomorrow night. Absolutely. Don't give us him. Don't give us Vasilevsky, best goalie in the world. Completely fine with that. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'll keep it short tonight. I have some stuff to do for the Buffalo Strong Hockey Tournament to finish off the night here. But, again, you can't win them all. A lot left to be desired out there tonight. I think, again, Carolina, outmatched us physically, especially when we were trying to enter the zone, getting bodies, shoulders, arms, sticks on us. It was very difficult to have a clean zone entry tonight, kind of force a dump and chase type of style hockey. But the thing is, Antti Ranta was stopping the puck behind the net, preventing us from really winning those puck battles behind the net, and really getting ourselves set into the offensive zone. And then again, in our own end, I think the lack of talent when you're missing Samuelson, Labushkin, that was kind of glaring in it, I think. And just some lack of awareness. Again, it's going to happen. It's a long season, 82 games. I wouldn't sit here and think that, just because we lost one to Carolina. And again, they were in that game until the end, even down by 2. They were still putting pressure on. They were skating. I never felt like this team was really out of it up until they went down by 3 late in the game. And even then, they were still charging, trying to, playing for pride. And Dahlin gets his 7th of the season, to continue this tear that he's been on since game 1. So, with that being said, guys, I'll hang up and listen. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I love coming on these post-game shows with you guys and talking shop, talking Sabres. And remember, this is brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Get over on Georgia Boulevard. Outlet Liquor for your Sabres game night and Bills game day needs. Go Bills Sunday against the Jets. Absolutely smack them in the mouth. I expect probably a win by no less than 3 scores. That's my prediction, at least. and go Sabres tomorrow. Probably their toughest test this season against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we'll see what happens. I'll hang up and listen. You guys enjoy your night. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow night. And let's go Sabres.